So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And tonight I'm joined by Gene Marino. He sings and plays guitar in the band Primal Code. They're a newer death metal band from Chicago, and they're about to release their debut record with Relapse Records in November. So, first of all, Eugene, how are you, man?
Good. How are you, man? Thanks for taking time to talk to me.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for taking time while you're in your wilderness vacation, man.
Yeah. I
So,
just spent some time in the fall to get away from the city a little bit.
oh yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, Chicago can get like it's a very crowded type of city, so it's good to get away. So yeah, I listened to the album that's coming out in a few weeks, and yeah, it's like it's there's death metal, but you guys were influenced by bands like Bolt Floor, Napalm Death. So tell us a little bit about like Primal Code. I know that you guys formed a few years ago, and you had an EP, but this is the debut full length. So tell us a little bit about the history of the band.
Sure. The three of us have known each other for some time. We all play in other respective bands. I play in another hardcore band called The Killer. Will plays in a doom kind of noise band called Indian, and our
Mm.
drummers played in a bunch of bands. Most of them will be a punk band called Home Invasion. We all love doing those bands and stuff, but I think we were all kind of not getting all of our itches scratched, if that makes sense. Like we're kind of all missing something from each one that whatever, and it kind of slowly took hold from that and kind of hanging out, listening to music and hearing bands we liked or parts we liked that were like, what if a band was just this? Not like, oh, wait for this breakdown, then this cool part. And then like wait for this big intro, then this cool. Like, what if we just did this mid-paced thing the whole time instead of blast beats or more technical stuff. So it kind of started with that idea and evolved on its own. We did a demo and then like a 4-song EP and then like another 2-song split EP with another band in Chicago here called The Gavel. And then Relapse called us and we have our record now.
Yeah, well, it's if Relapse call, of course you will say yes, because they
Yeah,
put
yeah,
out
oh
like
yeah.
a yeah. I remember the first time that Relapse really got on my radar. I remember it was back in 2004 when they released Blood and Fun Leviathan by Mastodon. Uh,
Macedon, yeah.
yeah, that was like the first album. I'm like, oh yeah. So every time I see Relapse, I don't know why I think of Mastodon and that album because like that was the first record that I heard from that
That's a
record
great
label.
record. Macedon just played Chicago. They played that whole record at Riot Fest.
Oh yeah,
They did
uh,
last month.
were you there?
I was.
Oh, my good.
Slayer was playing. I had to be there.
Yes, I know. I have a friend that collaborates with me, and she lives in Chicago, and she sent me like the videos of like Mastodon, Slayer, but she told me that she felt like Lamb of God was more energetic, like so she.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah,
put on a great show. Those guys are phenomenal musicians. Those guitar players are something.
yeah, yeah. I need to go to Chicago to a Riot Fest. It seems like a
It's
great
something.
festival. Yeah, and
It's a
what I like
spectacle.
about that festival is that they mix different type of genres. It's not like
Oh
they can
yeah.
have like an indie rock, death metal. They can have, it's pretty interesting lineup.
There's
So
everything and it's all happening at once on like 7 stages or something insane. They just set up a whole
yeah,
compound. It's really a sight to see.
it would suck if there's like two bands that you want to see and they're
Yeah.
playing at the same time in different areas. Like I'm like, do not make me choose.
I think they try to like put things on opposite end of the genre spectrum, but I think they're not counting in that like a lot of people have very wide tastes in music. Like you really don't know. I
Yeah,
think Sublime played at the same time as Slayer, and I was like, it's not my thing, but I guarantee somebody here doesn't know what to do. Like that sucks.
yeah. I would go see Slayer.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Yeah, because it's not it's Sublime with his son, but
Yeah,
but yeah, but it would be harder if they put Slayer and Testament playing at the same time in different areas.
yeah.
But
I
no,
would hope
they're
they'd
gonna
be
put
smart
different
enough to
stuff.
not do that, but yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be a problem for me. But I think I'd always have to go see the Almighty Slayer over damn near
yeah,
anybody.
that would be a problem. So yeah, the album is coming out soon. So the album name is Opaque Fixation, which is like that's a very death metal album. And the album's 10 songs, and it's very classic. It's 10 songs, well, nine if you don't count the
Yeah.
first one. It's like an intro. So
Hmm.
it's 9 songs, and I think it has the proper amount of songs for because back in the 90s, death metal albums were like 8, 9 songs. So it's got like that good flow to it. So tell us a little bit about like this. What do you think? Like for people who haven't heard Primal Code, like how would you describe the sound of your band?
I mean, we try to stay in that kind of mid-paced, kind of low-speed whiplash. Like it never really is slow. It never really is fast. I guess there are some fast parts, but we always try to make it sound like you're kind of just, trapped in a bulldozer. It's just claustrophobic and constantly moving and you can't get out. A lot of the mid-paced 90s, greats, parts of Bolt Thrower, parts of Obituary, Death, Skinless, Entombed, a lot of those things, and just our interpretations on that. I'm really glad you noticed the length of the record because we had a very purposeful set of time in mind that we wanted to keep to. And it's cool that
Mhm.
somebody like noticed it because it's like, we basically got picked up out of the blue by Relapse, and not a lot of people know who we
Yeah, I
are, which
think
is
it's
which is
it's
super
less than
cool.
40 minutes.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like
it's
in the
36 or
Mhm.
37 or something like that. But I feel like anything over a certain amount of time is almost offensive. Like you've never heard of us, but give us an hour of your time. But anything too short's not a full length. So it's like finding that sweet spot to be like, this is as most to the point we can get with getting all our points out.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Dream Theater. Here's
Yeah.
22-minute song.
Yeah, like which is great if people dig that, but I feel like when we're such a new band, it's almost offensive for us to be like, here we are, here's our like 3 hour opera. Like, no, like
No, no, no,
we
no.
try to be we try to be extremely to the point with what we're doing. I really try to write songs that have zero to no, no filler.
Yeah, and also something that I also pointed out. Each track is just one word.
It is.
Yeah,
Uh
because
I think I'm not creative or smart enough to have big, theatrical titles. So it just
yeah,
kind of pick a word from the lyrics or a word from the feeling or the idea I'm trying to express in the song and just like that's it. And I
yeah,
just kind of stuck and it kind of just happens organically every time. So it's not
makes
completely on
sense. Yeah,
purpose, but it just works.
yeah. But I hate those bands that not hate, but there's sometimes bands that they have a song that is like a fucking paragraph, and the
Yeah,
song's like 1 minute. I'm like, fuck you.
yeah. I mean,
Like,
that's fine, but get on with it. Like I don't know. No one's listening to us because they want to hear too much of what we're thinking. So let's keep it to let's trim as much fat as we can.
yeah, yeah, it's straight to the point, death metal. It's brutal. The way that you're singing is pretty like that death metal style. Like for
Thank you.
you, when you were doing this, like, did you have like which vocalist like really inspired you in that type of
Um,
singing?
so originally I wasn't a singer. A friend of ours sang, and it just never got to the first demo. And then I was like, I think I could take a stab at it. And I kind of just tried a few things, and where I landed just kind of worked. So there really wasn't because I didn't think it was gonna work. I was like, well, now we don't have a singer. Like, well, maybe I can just fucking try it and see what happens. Um, and it did. Like, I just kind of found my sound pretty early on and just kind of ran with it. Um,
Mhm.
I do try to stay as intense, but still with a lot of clarity as I can. I really like Chuck Schuldiner from Death. Like he's shrieking and it sounds great, and it has this like raw, almost scary energy. You hear the noises he's making.
But you could
Like
understand,
it's
yeah,
it's it's, but you still hear what he's saying. I
yeah,
like plenty of bands where they're just barking or growling, or it sounds like a bathtub draining. That stuff's cool, but I think I just would like to present something different for me personally. So it kind of just happened naturally on its own. Um, and it kind of just went from there. Like I love bolt thrower singing, obituary singing, all those type of things. I like to stay in the lower register but still be clear.
Yeah. Was this the first time that you actually sing on a band, a project that you had?
Yeah, no, I never did ever, and I wrote all the songs for like the demo with no plans of writing lyrics or doing anything like that. And then when we were recording the demo, they're like, "Okay, well, we don't have a singer now." I was like, "Well, I think I could do it, and it would be cool if I could." And I tried it at first, and it kind of just was a train wreck. And then I kind of just eventually tried some different things, and it just happened, totally accidental. Never done it before, and I was like, "All right, well, I can do this. Like, I hope this works." And then
Mhm.
people seem to dig it, which is cool. I mean, when I'm doing it and I hear it in my head, I hate it, but it sounds okay recorded, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I guess you say I think everyone intentionally, unless you're a narcissist, hates the
Yeah.
sound of their own voice.
Yeah, I think so. I sometimes when we play live, I'm like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, God, this sounds like I sound stupid or whatever. And then people be like, "Oh man, the vocals sounded cool." I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you fucking with me?" Like, I can't. It's hard to believe because it sounds so different in my head. But I enjoy doing it, so I hope it sounds okay.
Okay. So in types in the lyrics of this record, tell me a little about the themes that you touch on this record.
Um, we try, I mean, we do a lot of the pretty typical death metal stuff, just scary things, but we try to keep it away from like before the more theatrical stuff. Like
Mm.
that stuff's cool, but like we're not going to sing about zombies and chopping people up because there's already bands that do that way better than we ever would. Like there already is a Cannibal Corpse singing about gore and
Yes.
stuff. And for me to do that is just like silly because they're already just annihilating that thing, and Bolt Thrower sings about war and the bands have their things, so I try to not have a thing entirely, but I just try to like I don't know, strip down stuff to the bare minimum to give me an idea, and then I just take off from there and hide my own little personal views or opinions or feelings within it. But a lot of it has to do with, I think, a lot of it stems from thinking about how fragile society really is. Like, oh yeah, we're great, and we have these phones that scan your face, and you could find anything anywhere in the world like that. But like, what happens if the internet just stops working? Like, how quickly do we just fall apart and start eating each other? Like, you think
Or
about it hard enough, it's kind of fucked up. Like,
well,
what
I don't
happens if
know
what
about you,
happens if there's
man.
just no electricity and no Wi-Fi ever again? Like, how soon do we just turn into warring tribes?
Well,
Like, and it
I can
spirals
tell
from there.
you, yeah, I can tell you from experience because I'm in Puerto Rico
Yeah, from
and
the
I went through a
2 years ago, 3 years
hurricane.
ago.
I
Yeah,
spent 3 months without electricity.
yeah, that's insane.
So yeah, you gotta like I read a lot of books. The first few days I didn't have internet on my phone, so I had to do
Nothing.
other stuff. So yeah, you go like there's a really interesting book that they made a show in Max called Station 11. And I
Okay.
like that book because a lot of books are about the apocalypse. They're like, oh, there's a zombie. Oh, there's a disease.
Oh, the Max Brooks book. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
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 I
no,
haven't
no,
read it, but I know what book it is.
that book is for someone else, but the
Oh,
the
okay.
idea of that book is like there's like a disease that happens and kills people, but no one turns into zombies. So it's what happens, like a lot of people die and then stuff stops working. And the funny thing is, I read that book 1 month before COVID.
Oh God. Yeah, that's pretty. It's like watching
And
Outbreak,
then
the movie
COVID
before
started
COVID.
happening. I'm like, oh my God, is that damn fucking book I was
Yeah. But yeah, I,
reading?
I kind of lean into stuff like that because you think about like on a big macro level, like in on this planet we're all on,
Mhm.
there's animals and things that survive out in the wilderness, right? With nothing, tooth, fang, claw, that's it. And you really
Yeah.
scale it back, like we're all very soft, pink, useless animals outside of like we have thumbs and like a prefrontal cortex. We have like good ideas. So like what happens if like our little trinkets aren't there? So our phones, our electricity, all that, like we're not looking so hot. So like it's I start going down that like kind of end of the world stuff quite often and branch off from there.
Yeah, I know. And if you think about it, like, I was watching a documentary about salmons the other day. Like, salmons are, they're pretty tough, like how they go
Yeah.
against the river and then they mate and then they die.
Yeah, that's it.
And they made for one time. And then the little Salmons have to go and some years later do it again.
Yeah.
So
Well, you think about
it's
like, anything in the animal kingdom for the most part, like a deer or a giraffe is born and it's walking. It's walking and it
yeah.
has to stay alive before it's eaten by wolves or whatever. It's like, meanwhile, we have children and they're useless for, 5, 6 years so they can kind of do something remotely, to keep themselves afloat. So
And you
it's a
have to
pretty
keep
like
them alive until they're 18.
overbearing thoughts. You know what I mean? Like you just get down the wormhole thinking about like, man, I don't know how people are on top of things, the food chain wise. I don't know how we got here, and I'm glad we are, but I feel like it's a very, very fragile thing we're standing on here.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I want to show the artwork of the record, which is a
Sure.
pretty cool artwork for people who haven't seen it. So here's the artwork for the record. So yeah, there's some beasts there. It looks really menacing. So tell me a little bit about what you wanted to convey with the artwork.
Um, so we had used like the hyena imagery before, which we really liked, just because I could go on and on. You'd read about hyenas and their social structure and how they just survive everything. There's a lot of cool things like that, but we kind of use that, and I kind of like that vein. And we were doing the record, and then we needed artwork, and I'm not very good at explaining my thoughts as far as to an artist. And a good friend of mine owns a tattoo shop, and he's got a tattooer there, Dan Gardea, and he is a phenomenal tattooer, and he does a lot of drawings and paintings that I really dig. And I approached him thinking he was going to tell me to go to hell because I was going to give him like, hey man, I don't have a lot of ideas, but I have like a lot of themes. Can you read my lyrics and figure it out? Thinking he'd tell me like, I'm not doing that. Like you got to tell me what you want. Uh, so we just I showed him that and gave him some examples of people we liked, Francis Bacon and things like that. Like this is stuff we like, this is stuff we don't like. Here's some lyrics. Here's some of the underlying themes and feelings I have around this. And he went to town and he literally in a week sketched out 3 drafts. And this was like the first one. We're like, yeah, that's it. That's perfect. And just let him go to
Yeah,
town. And he just pulled it out of his head like immediately.
it looks menacing. If I saw any of those creatures at night, I would crap my pants.
I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
It's
Yeah,
death metal is supposed to be scary, but we like to keep it, some level of real scary. Because I mean, I can't just have a record with, an axe murderer on the cover or more zombies. I got to try to do something that's
that's
maybe a less
different.
less theatric or more believable and makes you feel a real feeling, I hope.
Plus, it goes with the name of your band, Primal Code.
It
Like it
does.
fits. It fits the name of the band. So yeah, it's a cool artwork, and it
Thank
fits
you.
with the music. When people listen to this, obviously I know there's a video out there, but I forgot for which song.
Anapsid, the first song after the intro.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, that song really pulls you in.
Oh, thank you very
Uh,
much.
yeah. So yeah, no, this is so the album's gonna be out on November. I think it's the 16th, right?
15th.
The 15th.
15th. Yeah.
So once it's out, like, do you have any shows planned? Like, what are you doing once the album is out?
We have a Chicago record release show in December for the record with our good friends in the band Molder. Phenomenal death kind of thrash group from Chicago. Also, if you haven't heard them, please check them out. They're phenomenal dudes and a great band. After that, we're just looking to play shows and probably start on the next record, but we haven't started booking anything because we're all pretty new to this now. The record's out,
Well,
like doing it. So if
hey,
anybody listening wants to book us, we'd love to play wherever. So
maybe next year, Riot Fest.
yeah, I don't know about that, but maybe we'll play wherever, whenever, with whomever.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but well, you never know. You got signed to Relapse Records, so you never know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know how that happened, but we'll take it.
you
We
you
love it.
never know what. Yeah, you never know what where life takes you. It's all about sometimes pure like right place at the right time. So yeah, when you're not doing death metal things, so I can tell that you're a dude that likes to be out in nature. Like, what are your like your hobbies, man?
I spend a lot of time in the fall deer hunting. I chase whitetail deer quite a bit, and then Will, the bass player, and myself spend a lot of time. We build vintage Harley Davidson motorcycles.
Oh,
So I
that's
do
cool.
quite a bit of that. But otherwise, yeah, I'm a big outside person, whether it just be hunting, hiking, fishing, whatever I can do as often as I can, which is kind of hard in Chicago, but I get out as much as I can.
Yeah, pretty cool. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I've never hunted anything in my life, but I've had deer, and the meat is actually really good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, and it's a very overpopulated animal because we've just, people have invaded their space and they're breeding just as fast as they did before we were even here. So it's two birds with one stone because otherwise they start getting CWD and all sorts of weird diseases from being overpopulated and getting hit by cars or whatever. It's kind of nice to just get out and get some actually organic, sustainable meat. Have a little fun while doing it. I'm a
Yes,
big fan of archery, so I do that whole thing. I'm not really too into guns, um, but yeah, it's a phenomenal way to kind of get your
yeah,
brain out of the blue screens.
it is. So, if a zombie apocalypse happen, I want to be near you because
Yeah, I'm pretty good
you,
with the bow and arrow. I don't know how many zombies
yeah.
there are,
Well,
but I'll try my best.
I think if I survive 3 months without electricity and stuff,
I think you're there, man. Yeah.
you have to do stuff to survive.
And you're on an island, dude. You might be fine.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It might
yeah.
not get there.
Unless the outbreak starts here or something like that.
Then you got a bigger problem.
Yeah. So, man. So, thank you, for taking some time out of
Of course.
your vacation
Oh no, it's
to,
okay.
to chat with me about Primal Code. So, before I let you go, anything you like to say to the fans before we go?
Oh, I don't know. I hope people give the record a chance and I hope they dig it, We had a great time writing it and playing it, and I really hope that I like sharing my art with as much people as I can. So hopefully people check it out. And if they
Yeah.
do, thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I'll put the link for the pre-order for the
Awesome. Thank
relapse.
you.
I'm sure it's coming out CDs, vinyl, all that stuff.
Everything.
So I'll
Yeah.
put the pre-order so people can who want to pre-order that do so, and I'll put the link for the music video so people can watch it.
Awesome. Thank you
So
much. I appreciate you.
yeah, so Couchers, you had it here, the new Primal Code album out November the 15th. So if you like death metal, brutal death metal, like straight to the point death metal, listen to the band. So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the shield dude on a
Thank you.
couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.